I go in Specs, the liquor store out here, they just never have any. It's
Yeah,
always sold out.
very popular.
Yeah. I want to try the Rocks tequila.
The Rock makes
called?
tequila.
Yeah, he pushes it all the time. It's Terramana or whatever.
Every dollar you spend is going to his future Republican National Convention. It's happening.
Why do you say Republican? Why do you think he's going to go be a Republican?
Because he literally made a television show about his young self that kind of functions as a 10-hour presidential ad. It's crazy. It's so well made, but it's very clear that this is his presidential ad. It's insane. Yeah, The Rock is Republican, and he makes enough money to where no one's going to really judge him for being a Republican, but he's definitely a Republican.
Somebody said on a separate podcast that, you know how people used to like write a book like, oh, this is who I am sort of thing before they would run for president.
Mhm.
Yep.
He said, fuck that. I'm getting out there. I'm getting out there deep. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to read a book. I'm going to get there with a TV series.
Literally made a family-friendly TV series about his values and morals that will stand as his book. It's crazy. It's really well made. I hated how much I watched like the first episode and I was like, oh, I can't watch this. This is a campaign ad. But goddamn, this is a good campaign ad. So it's gonna work on people.
You got to think about the Rocks tequila as like just a fuck you to Vin Diesel. Like, I don't need your Fast and Furious money. So I'm out here selling tequila.
You know what's funny is George Clooney had a tequila too. He made $1 billion off of selling that thing. Yeah. George Clooney is a billionaire.
Jesus.
Some guys get all the luck.
And handsome. That's just not fair.
And handsome.
And like married to Stacy Keibler, just living my childhood dreams, basically.
That's not fair.
The thing with the money is in the liquor companies, to be honest. If you could make a liquor company, do it. All right. Anyway, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 78. We are reviewing Untold, Malice at the Palace. How we doing, everybody? We doing okay?
We're doing good.
We're doing fine.
Yeah,
we're doing good. We're doing better than some of the fans in this documentary.
I was gonna say I didn't get punched in the face by an NBA athlete today, so look it up.
Yeah, that poor guy that didn't throw that drink. I mean, the look of like pure terror on that dude's. He was innocent on that dude's face when what's his face? Paul, or not Paul Pierce. I was going to say when Meta World Peace came into the stands.
All right, before we get into it,
insanity.
I'm sorry. I'm going with Ron Artest today. I'm not.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not doing the Meta World Peace thing or whatever his name is now. I'm sorry. He's Ron Artest.
Yeah, I never actually truly adopted that. To be honest,
Mama called him Ron. I'm gonna call him
Ron. Yeah. So Malice at the Palace. You know about it. We're doing something different. We don't really do documentaries, but I think this is such a kind of a cool thing. It is cool. The documentary, we'll get into it. I don't think says anything new, but it's something that happened in our lifetime that they're making a documentary about, and it is huge. It is weird now that we're old enough for Malice at the Palace to be a documentary, but you know, and this is supposed to be a series. I think this is the first episode in a series, sort of like their Netflix is 30 for 30, but a brawl broke out near the end of a game between the Indiana Pacers and Detroit Pistons on November 19th, 2004. Nearly 17 years later, we re-examined that night and all of the consequences. Directed by a guy named Floyd Russ. It has Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson, and Ron Art, Meta World Peace. Has a 7.5 user score on IMDb. I don't think it has a rating on Rotten Tomatoes. People seem to like it. I haven't heard anybody say it was terrible or anything like that. So, so definitely rated TVMA. So if you're wanting to show your kids this, just be aware that Steven Jackson is going to cuss at you. So, yeah, I don't know. what did y'all think about it? Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Like you said, this didn't really tell us anything new. Like it's called Untold, but everything that was in it, I've been told before. It felt like it was building up to be like some kind of epic thing or whatever. The production value was incredible. Like out of the gate, like their intro like sequence is just super dope, and you're like, oh shit, it's about to get real. It's going down, and then just nothing really happens that much. You like hang out with Reggie Miller for a little while, and you're sad that Reggie Miller never won a title.
Are you?
That's like not why I came to the Malice at the Palace documentary to like hear about Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal never winning championships. Like, okay, that's sad, I guess, but like that's not what I'm here for. It felt like it could have been a little juicier. There wasn't any like mind blowing or like just interesting tidbits or anything like that. I just wasn't that moved by it, but it is fun to just kind of hang out and talk about NBA fans getting punched in the face by NBA players. Like that's some crazy shit that we all got to see happen. It's just nice to revisit. So off the strength of that, it's like a C plus, B minus, only at like an hour. I mean, why not watch it, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it's definitely worth watching just because the Malice at the Palace thing is riveting. It's one of the craziest things that has happened at a sporting event, like an American sporting event. Now at like soccer games, they have like full on riots and shit like that. But like,
yeah, they're like shooting explosives at each other and they're just happy.
Yeah, at an American sporting event, you would have never thought that NBA players were going to run up into the stands and fight fans. Like, in force, like multiple NBA players, not just Ron Artest went off the rails. It was like all stars were going up into the stands and fighting just like Joe Sixpack. Crazy. So it's worth the watch, but it is only like an hour. It's crazy. Teach.
So I remember this day vividly when it happened. This was in the middle of my freshman year at Texas, and I was at a bar. I was at Pluckers actually with some friends watching the game. And this happened. So you can only imagine my sheer joy of just seeing people go into the stands and punch the shit out of fans. It's just incredible. It's incredible content. So there's only like this documentary can only be but so bad because like Royden said, this is super compelling stuff. Culturally, it's huge. The reactions to it were huge. Then, to be frank, like we just as Americans have an obsession with that story of race. And this is a very, very racial thing. There are mostly black athletes going into the stand, beating up mostly white fans. That's just compelling content. That's why in boxing, you see Floyd Mayweather fighting a Mexican dude every time we get to Cinco de Mayo. It's not because he wants to beat up Mexican dudes, just because that's what people like, those kind of storylines, unfortunately. People respond to that stuff. This is one of the biggest things that's ever happened in the NBA, and it literally changed the face of the NBA overnight. Like, this was a huge cultural moment. And so I'm kind of with Dex. It feels weird that this is a part of a larger documentary series. Well, that part's not weird, but this is an event that's so big it deserves kind of its own thing. And we're so spoiled by what ESPN has done with the 30 for 30, with the Last Dance, of really sitting you in this moment and giving you a lot of the full context. We're going to show you exactly who the Indiana Pacers were. We're going to show you exactly who the Detroit Pistons were. We're going to show you that they just won a championship. We're going to show you that Indiana was knocking on the door for a long time. Like, Ron Artest is the guy who quote unquote started this thing. He was the best player on a team that people thought were going to win the championship. So this is a massive story. Like, a lot of people only remember Ron Artest in the later days of his career, when he was with the Rockets, which was a lot of fun, and when he was at the Lakers and won a championship. But at this time, Ron Artest
elbowing James Harden
in the
back of the head.
At this point, he was one of the best players in the league on both ends. Like, he wasn't just D'ing people up; he was also scoring. He was also giving you 20 a night. So this was it's just like such a cool subject matter. And there's nothing new in this documentary, but I would have sat and watched 3 hours of this thing just because there's so much to break down. There's so much to talk about around this one incident. And so it was enjoyable enough, but it's mostly just enjoyable because I just like sitting in the moment and listening to these stories and hearing these players talk. The players were super compelling. Jermaine O'Neal was hilarious. Steven Jackson's always hilarious. Ron Artest is always hilarious. So I would give it a B minus. but again, it's like I understand why if you're making a 5-part sports series that this is one of the entries and this is the first entry. But I really wanted this to have its own 3-hour documentary from every angle. I want to break down every second of the fight. They didn't even talk about the fact that what's his name? The point guard. I always forget his name, but he was in the stands. Jamal Tinsley. He was in the stands getting beat up by Ben Wallace's brother, or Fred Jones's brother. There's a point in the fight where this massive black dude runs up on Jamal Tinsley and is beating the shit out of him, and that was a Detroit player's brother. So like, there's so much to break down.
I don't remember that.
Every little interaction of this fight is its own separate 20-minute breakdown. Fans are getting punched. Fans are drunk. Fans are running onto the floor. That dude almost died. Like, this is just fun. I wish we had spent a lot more time there, but it was a solid B-. I enjoyed it enough, at least.
Reggie Miller did have a point. Jermaine O'Neal would have killed that man.
Dude, I so glad he slipped, because that man would have had fucking manslaughter right there.
It's like when do you remember hearing about when Rudy Tomjanovich got punched?
Oh my god, he almost died.
Yeah, that's what it would have been like. He like broke his brainstem or something like crazy. Like broke his face.
It would have been like Bobby Portis and Miritich. Like,
that was Kermit Washington, the guy who punched him. The guy who punched Rudy Tomjanovich was Kermit Washington. He almost killed him.
Yeah, it did. It was crazy. He said like
Kermit Washington. What a name.
Yep.
Yeah. If you don't know that story, Rudy Tomjanovich, Hall of Fame coach for the Rockets, but he was also like an all-star player for the Rockets all those years ago. Had his career kind of turned sideways because Kermit Washington turned around and cold cocked him so hard that he was tasting spinal fluid in the back of his mouth. He hit him that hard. He said,
Jesus.
He said he hit him so hard he thought the scoreboard fell on him. That's how hard he hit him.
Fuck, man.
You can find it on YouTube. It is a crazy. He nails him.
It was a perfect punch.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this back to the documentary. This documentary is like, it's not OJ made in America. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to learn anything. You could make this about, because they very lightly go over the surface of how brutalized they were by the media. And like, and you know, they called them a bunch of thugs and bunch of
whole documentary about that shit, because like that was insane.
A bunch of who actually comes out looking good on this is Stephen A. Smith, like, because he was the most level-headed out of all of them. If you go back and watch those clips, which is crazy.
Which is crazy to think that he could ever be the most level-headed person responding to a news story.
Right.
Also crazy to think he still has the exact same hairline like 18 years later. It's still like exactly as receded as it was in 2004. No more, no less.
I mean, you had like Fox News weighing in on this, like, you know, it just CNN, like it was crazy. And so many people had egg on their face, but just like how, you know, should Ron Artest have gone into the stands? Absolutely not. But like to just tell all these people, like, to me, how racially motivated the news coverage is crazy. It is bananas. And they just barely kind of scrape over the surface of that. Like, you could have done a whole episode on how deep the criminal investigation was. He said it was like bigger than the OJ trial or something like that. Like, how much evidence was poured. He said it's more than like a murder trial, really, is how much time and effort the DA put into this. And then, you know, you could do a whole episode on that. They marketed it as sort of, oh, well, the side of the story that you haven't heard from the players, which just isn't really true, because we kind of all have like heard it before. And they didn't, and even the players didn't really say anything other than Jermaine O'Neal being like, this ruined my career. Yeah, but you were still like a 3-time All-Star after that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a little bit, but I think injuries ruined your career more down the line than actually anything else. But regardless, I mean, Steven Jackson still won a championship. Ron Artest still won a championship. Like, it's.
And that's like kind of just what they do at the end of the documentary. They're just like, sucks for Reggie Miller and Jermaine O'Neal, but like rings though. Like,
yeah. This is one of the moments that when Len Bias died, that literally changed the NBA, because the NBA was known by its white. The NBA is supported by white fans, especially the people in the crowd. It just says that white people love the NBA, and it had the reputation in the 70s of being drug ridden and too many black athletes and prima donnas who are just spending all this money. And then Len Bias died, and it kind of changed everything. And then you kind of go into the Michael Jordan era, which of course really elevated the game in terms of people that were watching it.
Popularity.
And then, and in that post Michael Jordan era, this is when you get the, like every NBA player looks like a rapper, and white fans were just like, well, all of them look like Allen Iverson with these baggy ass pants. And this thing happens, and David Stern kind of uses it as a moment to change
more
the
control,
cultural face of the league. Yeah, he basically is like, I have all the power, and now there's going to be a dress code. Now I'm going to put all these guys in suits. The suits were horrendous. They could have been 10 minutes on how horrible the suits were. Oh my God, bro.
The 2004 NBA draft suits.
Jesus.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen that picture, hold on. Continue, Teach. Sorry.
The suits were horrendous, but it literally, like, in direct response to these corporate sponsors and the backlash coming from white America because of this event, which looked horrible on television, ESPN is playing it on loop for 7 days straight. Everybody's pissed off, and there were big changes made at the face of the league that kind of take away some of the player agency to be themselves, so to speak. It's just the whole thing is so fascinating. Not just the actual fight, which is just fun, it's just fun to see people fight, especially when one team is stacked with pro athletes, the other team is stacked with fat, drunk white people. Like, it's just fun to watch that. So much happened. There was so much backlash, and it really is kind of a little encapsulation of the moment that we were in America. It's just such a fascinating topic that it feels weird to have an hour about it. Whereas the only way you could really learn something from this documentary is if you've never heard of this story before. But who hasn't heard of this story before? Like 12-year-olds. That's about it. Like, everybody else has heard of this story before, because it was literally everywhere. Like y'all said, it was on Fox News. It was on CNN. It was on your local sports talk radio. It was everywhere. It was the biggest story in the country. So, it feels weird that it's like called Untold, but like we didn't learn anything. I want to hear something I've never heard about this story before, which would be hard because I feel like I know everything about this story because I was obsessed with it for a long time. Yeah. So it just feels like short shrift to a really wide topic.
I going back on it, just side note, Kirk Heinrich cracks me up in this picture. So much fucking
Look
fabric.
At these suits.
Oh my God. Just we
could have clothed whole populations with the extra fabric in this photo. Just the extra fabric. Like, this is crazy.
Every time I look at this picture, though, we're looking at the picture of I think it's 2003 NBA draft class.
Yeah.
LeBron James being in the all-white suit just feels so appropriate. Like, for the rest of his life, for the rest of his career, like, if you had to pick one of these dudes that was going onward to greatness and like was expected to go on to greatness since he was like a sophomore in high school, it's the guy in the all white suit. Like,
yeah, they're all wearing like church suits, man. Like, it's all like something that you would have worn to church back in the day, and then you just got LeBron James in the all white. and then this man right here actually has the best cut now looking back at it.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, way ahead of his time.
Anyway, how much? Look at these pants, bro. Look at how baggy some of these pants are.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
They're stepping on the back of these like boot cut jeans.
What was Carmelo Anthony doing, bro? Like, what is happening? It's like, does he have just the top buttoned on his, like, what is it?
What is that?
It's like a gray suit with 18 buttons. But I'm serious. I think, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 6 buttons on this goddamn jacket.
That's insane. Why did he think that was what he should do?
But only like the top one is buttoned.
Yeah.
And everything else is just
gray suit, like a cream colored shirt, which just does not match. in black shoe. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, we got off to David Stern was like, I would rather them wear these than baggy pants.
Then those baggy ass pants, and it's like, oh, the pants are still baggy.
They're still baggy. It's still the same thing.
Before we jump back into the documentary real quick, I just want to like one of the few good things to come out of the NBA bubble is like coaches and the players who aren't playing just showing up in like
sweats,
half zips and like tech fleece and like some Jordan ones and like just vibing, just chilling. We don't have to pretend that you got to coach an NBA game in a suit. Nah, you can do this in a fucking Nike half zip with your team's logo on it. That's fine.
They straight up
things have come. Like now we have the NBA shows we watch have segments about the fashion of the players. So they've realized you want the players to express themselves because it creates more content. But it's like we went from having a dress code to now we are highlighting the outfits that players wear. You see the similar fights like in the UFC. They have to wear UFC regalia. They have to wear the stuff they make you wear. And everybody's like, this is stupid. If you're trying to market fighters, you need to let them express themselves and let them wear what the fuck they want to, because that adds to the appeal. People like weird outfits. You should let them wear the weird outfits because it helps. The NBA realized that like we should stop trying to cater to these corporate white sponsors and just let the players express themselves because it creates content. It's that simple. But we weren't there. We weren't there in 2004. We had them all in suits and they looked ridiculous. Half of them looked ridiculous.
I don't know.
Half of them hadn't worn a suit since they were drafted. Like they looked ridiculous.
I don't know, man. I don't think you should let Colby Covington wear what he wants to wear. I think
that's a good point.
Stay Colby Covington in the crypto.com shit. Like immediately.
He can wear UFC branded shit. Like he doesn't have to. He gets a dress code. Yeah, no, I think I ended up giving this like a C plus just because I was really expecting them to like the players didn't really tell us anything that we couldn't see on film anyway. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know, just because I was young, like I didn't know the background of like who was arrested and what happened to them legally and stuff like that. I just knew like this is one of the first big sports moments that I remember like following like start to finish. But I didn't know like just like I said, it was unavoidable. It's like right when you start like 9, 10, start kind of getting into sports real heavy and you start watching Sports Center with your dad and stuff like that. But this was on.
Stuart Scott is on.
Yeah, all day, every day.
It was everywhere.
Yeah. So I remember this, vividly, but I didn't know sort of the legality behind it. And so I was kind of really interested about that part. They don't really go into it, that they just kind of, like I said, they just skim over the surface of all this. And look, the players that they interviewed are the players that you want to hear from. You wanted to like getting Ron Artest, Steven Jackson, and Jermaine O'Neal is who you want to talk to. Like, I mean, Reggie Miller's a Hall of Famer, but I couldn't give a fuck.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I didn't realize Reggie Miller was like at the Palace at all, because like he wasn't.
No, yeah, right.
He was wearing a suit.
Yeah, he was injured wearing a suit. Like I never noticed that Reggie Miller was at that shit, to be honest with you.
Nah. And it's like he came off better in this than he does his entire broadcasting career. But
yes, he sounded so much better doing this interview than he does like talking on TNT to fucking Kevin Harlan or whoever the fuck.
Yeah, I just think they really skimmed over the surface even more than some of the shorter 30 for 30s do that aren't named OJ or the Michael Jordan documentary. I don't know, like, yeah, it really just became like a career retrospective, like we said, for Jermaine O'Neal and Reggie Miller, which, all right.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly what I'm here for in the Malice at the Palace documentary, but
didn't really sign up to hear the Jermaine O'Neal, like what if story of Jermaine O'Neal's career. We just don't really care about that.
Jermaine O'Neal, like,
he was great. No, he was really good. He's a 20 and 10 guy and was like an all defensive. He's 6-time All-Star, all defensive first team. Like he was,
but he's not really, like, I got to tune in for a documentary about what could have been. Like,
no,
he's not that guy. Like,
if this was called the Jermaine O'Neal documentary, knowing that they were going to touch on Malice in the Palace, I still would not click play on that. Because it's like, why do I care about Jermaine O'Neal?
yeah, like I'm sorry, man. Like, I appreciate that you beat the odds coming from South Carolina as a 6'11" person, and you made it to the NBA. But dude, that always gets me, man. It's like like coming from where I'm from, like, most people don't make it or whatever. It's like, yeah, most people are 7 feet tall. So,
they knew I had something special. They kept me out the streets because they knew I had something special. It's like, yeah, because you were fucking 12 and you were 6'9". Like, yeah, I think they can predict. Yeah, you might have a future in basketball.
You might have a future. Yeah, it's not like Chris Paul being 6 foot. Everybody just having to be like, yeah, that kid's good. Like, he might have a future in this. Nah, bro. They can spot you from a mile away.
I know it's not Jokic coming from Serbia or whatever. Yeah. Although Jokic is like 7 foot tall, like,
Jokic is 7 feet tall. Like, it wasn't. I mean, hey, I've seen basketball before. You might be good at it.
Oh man, I don't know. I think it's always like J.R. Richard came from like this small Louisiana town or whatever, and it was like, man, I was really grinding out here. Yeah, but you also threw 110 miles an hour. Like, just some, or rest in peace to him, but like some people are just born with it. You know what I mean? I really would have liked to heard more from the Pistons players. I mean, Ben Wallace has been like really open about talk. Like, I wanted to hear from Rasheed Wallace. Like, give me all of that. Ben Wallace, side note, has the deepest voice, I think, on the planet.
Of all time.
On the planet. It was shocking. Like, I heard him like talk at the draft or whatever, but I hadn't heard Ben Wallace talking forever. He got on there and it was like, I was stunned. I was like, oh my God, this is the deepest voice anyway. But like, I needed to hear from Rasheed Wallace. You know what I mean? Like, because he was also an instigator and all that too.
And
I guess
seems like Sheed is just
he would have been hilarious.
Super willing to talk to anyone about anything, but he wasn't in this documentary, which is weird.
Yeah, I think I do like the part of the documentary where they're like, Ron Artest was a wild card, so we needed to go out and get Steven Jackson. Known level-headed Steven Jackson from Port Arthur, Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I like Steven Jackson, like, just kind of on principle. He said some weird stuff recently, but like just kind of on principle, I like his personality and everything. And he's from Texas, like he's a Hall of Famer from Texas, Port Arthur, Texas, but to justify having to deal with Ron Artest by getting Steven Jackson,
that's insane.
Is insane.
We just need a tough guy, just somebody who could fight Ron Artest is what we need.
Basically.
That's what they said. Because like we can't whoop his ass, but Steven Jackson might.
Yeah. It's also insane that Jamal Tinsley was like, "Hey Ron, go get your file." You know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
You're not talking to Reggie Miller. You're talking to Ron Artest. He only knows one setting. Like, he's not going to do a little foul. He's going to try to murder someone. What are you doing? Why would you ask him that?
That I didn't know before was that Jamal Tinsley started this shit. That's the one new thing that I learned. That it's all Jamal Tinsley's fault.
Nobody talks about that. It's Jamal Tinsley's fault. They need to get Jamal Tinsley in here I wish he would have been like, no, I absolutely did not.
I would never say that. Why would I ever say that?
Why would you think that I said that? But I love how they're like, Ron, go get your foul. And he's just like, okay. Like,
I'll fuck him up.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Like
Ben Wallace just pettily throwing like armbands and headbands across the arena.
Also, you're fouling Ben Wallace too, known level-headed Ben Wallace in the NBA.
Yeah, Ben Wallace not willing to fight.
One thing that they didn't talk about in that documentary, that I think they should have touched on more, those Indiana Detroit scores are disgusting.
Gross.
The one from the end of the series of the year before, it was like 65-62. That's a fucking crime against humanity.
That's a fucking Rockets second quarter score. I'm not trying to watch a full game of 65-62 in the NBA. That's
disgusting. That's playoff basketball. Is the team that wins is going to score 65 points.
Eastern Conference Finals, 2004 Eastern Conference Finals. Listen to these scores. Disgusting, dude. Oh, game 1. Indiana Pacers take it in a barn burner, 78-74.
Get the fuck out. Dude, this is
game fucking... 2. Game 2. Detroit Pistons take it, 72-67.
This is disgusting basketball.
Game 3. Game 3. Detroit takes it, 85-78. Game 4, Indiana Pacers wiped the floor with them, 83-68.
No one's cracked 90 yet in any game.
No one cracks 90 at all.
Jeez,
insane.
Game 5, Detroit takes it again, 83-65. And game 6, the one we're talking about, 69-65.
Wait,
that is a high school score.
Nice.
How many times did a team score less than 70 in the series? It's like 5. That's insane.
1.
That's insane.
2, 3, 4 times. Well, if you want to, both of them didn't score more than 70 in the last game. Oh my God! Like how many fouls are in this game?
These are like Big 12 battles late in the conference season.
Yeah, this is Kansas State versus TCU on a Tuesday. This is disgusting.
Disgusting.
Oh man. Richard Hamilton had the game high 21 points.
How did y'all watch this, man? Like,
y'all
I get that people hate like the space the floor 3-point shots era and all the empty stats or whatever, but I'm sorry, man. 69-65. I'm not doing that. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my God.
That's not a one-off. That's the entire series. Is just you're gonna see a basket every 3 minutes. That's really bad basketball.
I'd much rather watch the Bucks and the Nets like play each other first to 150.
They were fouling the shit out of each other.
Oh yeah,
Indiana had 20 fouls. Detroit had 18 in that final game. 69 point. Oh,
and that's
man.
Just the fouls they called. There's a foul in every plan that's in that series. I promise you. You could hand check at that time. It was a very different ball game, bro. Very different.
Also, Reggie Miller shooting 2 for 8 in that final game.
Choke artist.
You're the reason you didn't win a win. You got
choke artist.
6 points. Disgusting effort from you. 6 points.
Yucks, Reggie.
To borrow a Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser special. Choked like a dog.
Oh my God. I that I saw that score popped up and it was like my breath was taken away. I was like, oh, ew.
We'll get the occasional game where like somebody doesn't crack 80 in the NBA. Like I think either the Jazz or the Nuggets in that series in the bubble like didn't crack 80 and it was like super gross, but the winning team only having 69 points is just, what are we doing this for? There's no way this was fun.
Those fans in Detroit couldn't care less. They're like, winning basketball right here.
That defense wins championships. Whatever, man.
There's a fan base that celebrated them trying to decapitate Michael Jordan for like 3 years.
Yeah, and also a fan base that like wants to kill Jalen Green now, which is weird.
They'll celebrate Bill Laimbeer like he's the second coming up there, man. No, I don't know. I can't really. You have to watch it because it really does try to push the narrative of like, I want y'all to go through like frame by frame of all that stuff. It's like, but we've seen all the footage.
We've seen it all. Like, we love watching this shit. This is one of those like on this day post every single year. Like we are on top of this one. We love talking about Malice at the Palace.
We've seen all the footage. So for them to go frame by frame and show them what happens, like, yeah, we already knew that people threw drinks and were fucking crazy. You know, it's like you weren't breaking any news there that people are assholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like we've all kind of known that the fans really started it. You know what I mean? So it's not really like you weren't breaking any new ground with it. It was so confusing of what they were trying to accomplish with that. You know what I mean?
We got to talk to some of the fans and the just people who aren't NBA players that they talk to. Like they had 2 security guards who happened to be there. Like they interviewed for this and they said nothing. I was like, this is just a waste. Like I thought it was going to be, oh shit. Well, we saw this and that and we experienced like all kinds of crazy shit that you can't even imagine. But they were just like, nah, it was crazy in there. And that was it.
Yeah, they're like, there was only 2 of us. Like, oh shit. Like,
I had no idea who Reggie Miller was. Didn't know who he was. I had no idea why this guy in a suit was giving me shit. It's like you thought a 6'9" black dude in a suit that happened to be standing on the floor was like
at an NBA game.
What did you think he was?
that was the funniest part. That was the funniest part of the whole documentary. Steven Jackson goes, "You don't know who fucking Reggie Miller is."
Yeah, and like it reminded me of that story from earlier this year where like the security at Madison Square Garden didn't recognize Patrick Ewing. And I'm like, bro, Patrick Ewing is 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like, and his face is all over Madison Square Garden. You've seen his face every time you walk into the arena. You don't know who this person is? Like,
he's 7 feet tall.
He's 7 feet tall.
Georgetown Hoya gear. Like, I wonder what he's doing here.
If you're at an NBA, just assume that anybody that is like over 6'5" is probably on the team. Like,
especially if he's wearing a suit that's more expensive than your whole life. Just assume that person is someone important. Like, just assume that they should be there.
And like you're not gonna get it wrong most of the time. Like there aren't 6'5" people who are just like sneaking into NBA arenas. Like
without somebody noticing.
Yeah, I feel like if you're like 6'5", either you are in the NBA or you want nothing to do with the NBA because people will say that should be you out there. Like every time that they see you.
You'll get tired of hearing that real fast.
Yeah.
Like Kimba Walker, I could be like, okay, like
exactly.
You're 5'11", you could be anybody. But like, Boban Marjanovic, like I'm not gonna question him walking down.
What are you doing here? What do you think he's doing here?
I don't know. That was funny where he was so Indiana Pacers versus the Detroit Pistons. You don't know who fucking Reggie Miller is? Yeah.
And they were playing each other every single year in the playoffs. Like you would think at some point you would have just noticed the ball guy making all the threes.
You know what I thought was funny about this is they do go into a little bit of the legality of it. And that guy that nearly got decleated by Jermaine O'Neal, but also got punched by Ron Artest straight up, who walked onto the court. He got like an actual like sentence for that. Like he got like a misdemeanor like assault charge, which is like, oh man. He's like, they tried to come out and blame me. It was like, well, you came onto the court, buddy.
I do love that guy sounded like he still wants to shoot the fair one with Jermaine O'Neal to this day. He was like,
yeah, it's like you want to square up.
Sucker punch me. It was a bitch move.
It's easy to sound like that when Jermaine O'Neal's not in the room and it's just some white camera dudes in the room. But his energy would have been different if Jermaine O'Neal, because Jermaine O'Neal is still 7 feet tall. Yeah. He might be old, but he's still 7 feet tall.
They still got the reach on you, I can guarantee.
Oh man, I can't imagine being punched in the face by like a full sprinting like NBA player. I don't know about y'all, but it's been years since I've been punched in the face. I am not with that life. I'm
good.
I'm out here trying to avoid being punched in the face at all costs. So like if I were to be punched in the face by an NBA player, it would be the first time I've been punched in the face in like over a decade.
I might die. I think I would die.
I'm not about it, bro. You got it.
And y'all are speaking as sober people. Imagine if you're drunk and you just see a hulked out Ron Artest running at you with murderous rage in his eyes. I would literally faint before he got there. Like, there's no way.
Especially if you're not the one who
like you didn't do it. Like, he thinks I did. Oh shit!
I'm sorry. I told you, bro. It wasn't me.
I would shit and go into the fetal position. I would poop my pants and then fall down.
No, bro, no, chill.
Like I said, the look on that guy's face is when they slow it down and you can see that he's like, oh shit, he's coming. He thinks it was me. Like,
That's got to be the scariest moment.
Pure horror.
That's pure horror right there, bro. That's insanity.
Because not only is there's some dudes in the NBA that are like huge, but like Luka Doncic isn't scaring anybody. He's just 6'8". You know what I mean?
Yes.
But Ron Artest is fucking massive. He's
a
like
linebacker. It's insane. Like, no, don't come at me, bro. Don't do that.
But it stay your ass down there, bro. Like, we're not doing this shit.
I just cannot get over the look on that guy with Glad. Like, you can go find that still image, but he's just like, oh no. And the dude that threw the damn drink, I mean, he got like slapped with some harsh sentencing and things like that. Like, but he basically like inciting a riot or something like that. Yeah. But he what an asshole. That dude that he was just with, I would have sued that guy was a complete dickhead. I would have sued the pants out that guy if I was the guy that got punched by Ron Artest. Yes. I would have been like, you started this, I'm gonna sue you. Because then he just kind of like ducks out of the way and then tries to like fight punch Ron Artest in the back of the head. Dude, I'd be so mad. I would be so mad.
The dude who threw the drink is very obviously a dickhead. But I have a bigger problem with all the people, like, as the players are being escorted out of the tunnel, and like, this is over, bruh. Just quit throwing your popcorn and sodas down here. Like,
and chairs.
Yeah, you're throwing chairs like down onto these people. Like, this is over. We're not fighting anymore. We're not a part of this. Like, keep your popcorn and take yourself, buddy.
Yeah.
I do like out of this arena.
I do like how they all tried to fight Ron Artest in the locker room.
Ron didn't think he was ever going to get in trouble. Like, yo, do y'all think we're going to get in trouble? Like, what?
What, dummy? Like,
I've heard that story before because Steven Jackson told it on like Highly Questionable or whatever back in the day, like when Le Batard was still doing it. Every single time that I hear that shit, bro, I just can't believe it. Like, how do you come to work with this person every day? Knowing that they were like, I think we're gonna be in trouble. What the fuck is like, I can't blame you for wanting to fight that man.
That was so funny. It's like if you cheat on a test and get caught or something and you get sent to the principal and you're sitting there like, it's the same energy. What do you think is gonna happen?
You think we're gonna get in trouble? Like, bro, yes, the fuck. I mean, like, he started a food fight in the high school cafeteria. Like, I think we're gonna get in trouble.
He should have been like, we. Bro, I will throw you under the bus right now. That is crazy that like an all-star, like an all NBA player. I mean, he wasn't up he was a great player, but he didn't sort of get better like until after this. I feel like he started making all-star teams, I think, after this, or he made one all-star team. But I don't know. Ron Artest, man, lost a whole year of his career on the back of that shit. That's crazy.
In his prime. And it does put the teammates in a really weird spot because there's only one of two ways that goes when you run to the crowd. The crowd is going to rip him to shreds. Like, there's only one of him.
I would have bet it. I would have bet on Ron Artest.
I'm wrong.
Because you only got to beat a few of them off you before the rest are like,
that's
oh,
true.
nah.
Before the rest are like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight.
I don't want this anymore. But
yeah, you're until he finished.
But yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it does put it because it's like, okay, either I go and try and like, I love how Steven Jackson was immediately about it. Like, he didn't even think about it.
He was just have that question in his brain. He was like, all right, we're going in the stands. Fuck it.
most people would be like, wait, hold on, let's see. He was
listen,
he was
for
like,
me,
fuck it, we're in the stands.
I know for sure that like if I see Ron Artest going into the stands, I'm gonna be like, oh damn, Ron Artest is going into the stands. But Steven Jackson was like, No, we going
We
into
go to
the
the
stands.
That means we are going into the stand. All of
This
us
is
are
what's-
in the stands now.
He's looking back. Reggie, where are you at? And he's like, no, man. Like, you go with God. You know what I mean? But I just, and the fact that Jermaine O'Neal didn't go into the stands, but still ran over there. Or did he go in the stands?
Who,
I
Jermaine
think he
O'Neal?
did.
Yeah.
Like
He
briefly.
did, but the dude that came into he had just got out of the stands when the dude came down onto the floor and squared up with him. So he had just got out of the stands, and then he squared up with him like, yeah, this is the guy I want to fight, the biggest dude on the team. I want to fight this guy.
Well, also Ron Artest being just like, I mean, obviously he just got like manhandled in the stands by like 15 fans or whatever. So like I would assume he would be on edge. So that dude coming up to him, but he didn't even think about it and punch the shit out of that guy. Like, can you imagine? Like, even if the guy, I mean, he got charged with like assault, I think, too, because he had like a closed fist or whatever. He was gonna try and fight him. So Ron Artest got off on that. Because that would have been just straight up assault if the dude was kind of walking around. But but for him to come down and be like, yeah, after seeing what he saw and then just to walk towards Ron Artest, are you high?
To be fair, if this man had stood face to face with Jermaine O'Neal, and no matter how slight the chances were, if he knocked Jermaine O'Neal out, he's a legend. And remember that Jermaine O'Neal had just played an entire basketball game. So maybe he's tired. And if he knocks him out, he becomes a fucking legend in Detroit.
No, well, he fights Ron Artest first.
Oh, yeah.
Then Jermaine O'Neal ran over there and hit it. So, like, I don't know. What are you thinking, man? On top of everything else, what is going through your mind that you can be like, yeah, I'm going to walk towards this? What?
His thought was, I was made for this moment. I'm about to knock Ron Artest out on national television. And
this is my time.
To go.
This is
my time. Finally, I will rise from mediocrity and claim my rightful throne. Like, that was his time. And it wasn't his time. He was wrong. He's very wrong.
He was very wrong about that. And he got charged. What a awful, what a bad day at the office, man. That's the thing.
And your team lost by like 20. You had a great day. Your team lost. You got knocked out, and also you being charged. You had a horrendous time at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I think about all the time now when I watch like sporting events or whatever, because like as an adult, going to these things is a little different, right? Like you gotta either pay to park or you gotta park far as fuck. Like it's like $25 to park at the arena or whatever. So
NBA tickets are expensive too. They're like the
especially
most expensive. Yeah, they're most expensive per capita. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, there were people who like got their asses beat in this game or like were getting punched in the face and then had to walk like 10 blocks back to their parking spot that they paid like $30 for and like drive all the way back out to the suburbs of Detroit. It's just like, damn, Ron Artest punched me in the face. I wonder if the cops are gonna call me.
somebody just walking home, like they were out with their friends or whatever, and they're just getting back home to their wife or whatever. They're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I was punched by Ron Artest.
Yeah, I got punched in the face by Ron Artest. Hey, mom, you're not gonna believe what just happened. Turn on your TV.
Turn on TV. What channel? Any channel. Just
anyone.
Mom, just turn on any channel. You'll see me. It's fine. Just turn on any channel.
Turn on Nickelodeon. It'll be on there. No, I
fucking Linda Ellerby special about the Malice at the Mouth.
We've been, we've seen this over the past few years, and especially this year, it kind of got out of control again, where fans were throwing shit at people or at players. And we've said before on this podcast, let them fight just one time.
Yeah,
just one time. Like, I don't, not a full on like Ron Artest is running up in the stands and like assaulting like a innocent person, which the first guy he punched was. But like, if you figure out who threw it, like let him fight.
Bring him
bring him down.
Yeah, like that dude who spit on Trae Young. Let him fight. Let him fight. We can
Like
stop
Trae
the
Young doesn't
game.
strike me as somebody who can fight, but he also strikes me as somebody who might
beat up me.
shock the hell out of the average person. He's gonna beat the shit out of the average person. Like,
Yeah, I'm not taking Trae Young in a fight against like if it's Trae Young versus Trevor Ariza, I'm taking Trevor Ariza. But like if it's Trae Young versus the random dude at a Hawks game who spit on Trae Young, I'm taking Trae Young in that fight. Like
especially when Trae Young is furious because he's just been spit on by this stranger during a pandemic. I trust Trae Young to get the job done in there.
yeah, bro, once you get spit on, ain't no going back, bro. Like I talked about how like I'm not a fighter, like I don't be getting in fights. But once you get spit on, what else you supposed to do? Ain't nothing.
You have no other choice at that point.
I'm gonna fight you. Yeah.
Somebody got to
gotta
get their ass beat. One of us is getting our ass beat after you spit on me. Like that's
I gotta mimic some UFC moves at some point. Like if you spit on me, I'm just going to have to dig deep down in my soul, be like, well, fuck it. I've already been spit on. What's the worst that can happen here?
What's the worst that can happen?
Man,
I gotta find out.
Yeah, I can't really fight. I don't fight, but we'll figure that out really quickly.
Yeah, we're gonna find out what it looks like. We're gonna learn today.
I'm gonna be on ESPN and get my ass whooped, but like we're gonna find out.
You're gonna have to smell you, bro. Like even if I lose the fight, you're gonna know that there are consequences to, even if it means that you broke your knuckle on my face, there will be consequences to you spitting on me, and they will be physical in nature. Like don't spit on me.
There was, I mean, we talked about this on a different podcast too, right before, but it was like somebody threw a beer bottle at Kyrie Irving. And then you just don't realize that like Kyrie Irving's 6'3". Like
he doesn't look that on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, like all of a sudden,
5'9", like 6'3" Kyrie Irving, who just got a beer bottle thrown at him. Like he's
like
probably cleaning you up.
Yeah. All of a sudden you're like, next to face with a really like athlete in peak physical condition, and you may rethink that throwing that beer bottle.
I'm gonna reconsider what you did.
Obvious, like after you throw in the beer bottle, the NBA athlete has all of the want to, like when it comes to a fight. Like you, because there's no way that you are faced up with Kyrie Irving and you want to win that fight more than Kyrie Irving wants to win that fight. Like, it's just not possible.
Also, if you're the NBA player and you get your ass whooped, you are now the NBA player that got your ass whooped.
You're never living that down.
You're now Dak Prescott out here.
Oh, man.
Yes. Dak Prescott is the opposite of Malice in the Palace.
You hadn't seen that video. Dak Prescott got his ass whooped by some fraternity dudes on a beach.
Got his ass whooped.
God, like, yeah, he went out very sad.
Like
that man got sad. Cooked.
I always forget. Is an SEC starting quarterback. It was getting smoked by regular frat bros. It was insane to watch.
They did not care at all. You can be a Heisman dark horse if you want to be, bro. You getting your ass whooped tonight.
Hold on. I want to say they have it on YouTube.
That's incredible video. Dak was getting cooked.
Hold on. Let's see if I can. I mean, like Heisman dark horse, like Mississippi State legend. He got knocked the fuck out.
He was running over SEC linebackers for fun, and he literally got beat up by some frat boys on the beach. It's incredible content. We don't get to see that nearly enough.
And this was like spring break. Everybody's out here trying to have a good time. Like, fucking Dak Prescott on the ground getting his ass beat. And this man went on to play for the Cowboys. Like,
millions of dollars. You still got your ass whipped in a parking lot.
I'm sure there's plenty of women who were like, who could have been in there, could have trapped Dak Prescott if they wanted to, but he got his ass whooped. It's like, you can't do that now.
I know he still has nightmares about that. I know
you can't go home with the dude who got his ass whooped.
You can't.
You got your ass whooped.
I know he wakes up in a cold sweat randomly on a random Wednesday, like, God damn, they were whooping my ass again. God, I can't stop having the dreams.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, yeah, just I thought going all the way back to the documentary, I thought that what really does come out of it is that like Ron Artest does look kind of like an asshole. Like, to be honest, regardless of what you think about the fight or who was responsible, or I think there's a lot of like finger pointing that goes on. I don't, fans shouldn't throw shit, obviously, but should Ron Artest have run up and punched an innocent dude in the face?
Yeah,
no.
It's easy to blame the fans, and that's fine. We can blame the fans for starting this, but the first dude that got cooked did not deserve to get cooked. Yeah. He did not. He just didn't deserve it. He did not deserve to get cooked. He was just standing there. Just bad luck for that guy.
What went on after that is all on the fans. Like basically starting a riot and throwing chairs and shit. Like that's all on the fans. That's a terrible look by Detroit, by the way. Awful look. Nobody wants to talk about that. But it was also a bad look for. And we talked about am I going to get in trouble? Like, we going to get in trouble? Yes, Ron.
You can't go into the stands and fight the fans. You just can't.
And also him being doing the, what was it? Who was the guy on the Bulls that just took off during the season?
The Dennis Rodman.
Rodman. I don't know why I'm blanking on Dennis Rodman. Hall of Famer Dennis Rodman.
Source Awards, in the middle of the season. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?"
Imagine you're at halftime of a game. You're like, "Damn, we really missing Ron tonight." You look up at the TV and Ron Artest is literally at the Source Awards on the television,
and he's like, "I don't know why I'm here." Like, fuck.
I was in 4th grade in 2004. I wasn't watching Pacers basketball. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm sorry, I'm not watching Eastern Conference Indiana Pacers basketball. Well, I wouldn't have known who Ron Artest was if he showed up at an award show in 2004.
He wasn't an all-star yet.
Maybe other people would have. But.
Steve Francis did this too. He had migraine problems. And he said he had a migraine, and then he was at a Super Bowl party that was on TV during a Rockets game. This happened. Steve Francis did this when this is the same Super Bowl that the Janet Jackson Justin Timberlake thing happened. Steve Francis was out at a Super Bowl party during a Rockets game when he was supposed to have a migraine.
Oh my God.
No, I'm so glad this didn't happen in the Twitter era because my God, bro. No, we would have got cooked. We would have got cooked.
Rockets fans already are down bad. We would have been.
Rockets fans, is this your franchise at the Super Bowl party?
We would have got cooked.
Stevie franchise at a Super Bowl party.
This is your man's.
Yeah, I just nobody cares about the Indiana Pacers like that. So I don't think they would have been cooked by Ron Artest being at the Source Awards, but
I wouldn't even know who to go cook if I wanted to talk shit to Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, who would I find to go at them? To go get them? I don't even know who to at for that.
Some dude named Dan out in a cornfield.
Danny Hoosier 95.
We love our basketball up here. No, but they don't even sound like that. But they
sound like Aaron Gordon. Somebody call the National Weather Service.
Always forget he's from Indiana. He is Mr. Indiana basketball. He's one of the best players ever to come from that state, and nobody just knows that.
And it just doesn't matter.
That's the second time we've referenced that video on this podcast. Hopefully there will be a third because that video is so funny, man.
Call the weatherman.
Why does he speak like that?
Oh my God. But I think he does come off looking like an asshole. And the funny thing is he kind of knows it too, which is there is some stuff to be said about mental health in this that Ron Artest obviously suffers from, and he's well aware of it. You know what I mean? But it still doesn't excuse him for kind of being a douchebag and then wanting out of Indiana when he started all that shit. You know what I mean? So it was sort of, and
I do understand him wanting out of Indiana though, bro.
You
can't come back. No. I'm sorry, you can't.
Then they're like, all right, you want to out of Indiana? We're gonna send you to Sacramento. That's crazy. Yeah, so he kind of does come off looking like an asshole, and I think he's kind of aware of it, which is kind of weird. But because you would expect him to be like, nah, I don't give a fuck. But like Jermaine O'Neal just doesn't talk to that man anymore.
I wouldn't. Fuck it.
Yeah. Anything else on this?
I just sent the Eric Gordon video to the One Take Pod account. So we will tweet the infamous Eric Gordon video from the One Take Pod account. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. This video is incredible content. You have to watch it.
I'm gonna tweet this right now. Hold on. Hold on.
Oh my. Someone called the National Weather Service. We had an unanticipated storm in the building tonight. Homeboy was running threes down on these fools. Bam, bam, bam.
Why does he speak like that?
Lost track of you, and boom, another one. That was sweet to see. You keep shooting like that, it's gonna make a huge difference for us.
That was sweet to see.
Building tonight. Homeboy was running threes down on these fools. Bam, bam.
I don't think Eric Gordon has
One
ever said
after
homeboy
another.
before he read that
Those
script. I
track
don't think he's
of
ever said
you,
that word
and
before.
Another one. That was sweet to see. You keep
What is
shooting like
up,
that, it's
dog?
gonna make a huge
That was sweet to see.
I need to know if that was like one of those situations where he was like, I'm only doing one take of this. Fuck you guys.
I'm
I
out of
don't
here
care.
after this.
Or if that was like the best one they got after doing that for like an hour.
I guarantee you, some dude in an audio booth was like, "Shit."
They have to like grab one word from every take because none of the takes were good enough. They just like grab one word from every take. That's why it sounds so chopped up. It's awful.
It just it's shockingly bad. It's so bad. I'm tweeting it right now.
Rockets, please trade this man off my team. We've had enough. The Eric Gordon era needs to end now. Please trade this man. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tillman.
Send him home. Let
Send
him
him home.
reunite with. I'm sure he's got friends in Indiana.
Somebody called the weatherman.
I'm sure like the weird strip clubs in Indianapolis miss Eric Gordon. Send that man home.
Oh man. All right. Anyway, yeah. All right, that's it. That's Malice at the Palace. Go watch it or don't. You know, I'm sure they could probably make a better documentary about it eventually, but they won't.
We need to. I know that Steven Jackson said he doesn't want to ever talk about it again. It needs its own 2.5 hour ESPN documentary treatment. Somebody please make that happen. I promise you we will watch it. I promise you.
1,000%.
Yeah. All right. We will get to our sports moments, figures, or whatever that we want to see made into documentaries right after this ad break from Apollo Houston.
Oh, I'm so excited for this draft.
All right. We are going to do best sports moments or figures, I guess, that we want to see made into documentaries. All right. Who wants to go first?
Don't let Dex go first. He's going to pick the Baylor National Championship. Come on. We know what's happening here.
All right. We'll go Tej, Dex, Royden.
I'm picking the Texas 2004 National Championship.
Oh, boo.
Fuck you.
Vince Young is a hero. Fuck Jeff Fisher. We need to make this into a documentary. I'm gonna die happy the day that this gets made into a proper documentary. There's so many great storylines. Hook 'em horns.
They've made a national championship documentary, right? It's like the only thing that they run on the Longhorn Network.
Yeah, they made one, but it's not very good. But they do run on the Longhorn Network all the time. I want this to be on ESPN. I want everyone to see it, not just people who like the Longhorns. I want all of you to be forced to watch our glory for 2 hours.
I swear to God, the only thing they have on the Longhorn Network besides swimming is that 2005 national championship.
And the last time we played A&M and won. Those are the only two things that air on that.
That Nebraska game that they should have won.
I'm not going front to you, bro. I rooted for Texas a little bit, like growing up, just because I didn't want to root for A&M, and those are like your two options. Like when you grow up in Houston, and that Justin Tucker kick, like that last game when they beat A&M, I was like, fuck yeah, like running around in my bedroom, like screaming, standing on my bed and shit, like fuck yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like I grew up a Baylor fan because I was like the only Baylor fan in my small hometown. It was always like, you know, because you can buy a Texas A&M or a UT shirt at Walmart, so like people were rooting for them back in the day, and it was always you a Longhorn or an Aggie. I was like, I like Baylor. They're like, oh.
I would have literally been like, what is that?
Yeah.
What's Baylor?
Well, it was a team that they beat like in that Vince Young year. That I swear to God, I think they beat Baylor 63-0.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was nasty. It was very nasty.
That national championship game, I went to bed. My parents made me go to sleep.
No,
And I missed it. And everybody was like, "Did you see Texas come back last night?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what? What happened?"
Yeah, bro. I definitely watched that game, and like Vince Young is from Houston and like was like cool with everybody in like that area that he grew up in. So like all the dudes like at my dad's barbershop or whatever, like knew Vince Young when he was in high school and all that other shit. So like everybody down here was a Vince Young fan. And we definitely watched that shit and lost our minds. Like, still probably the best game I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I like fuck Texas forever, but like that, it was, yeah. It
was because Matt Leinart was such a douchebag that it just made it so much sweet. I want Matt Leinart to be in this documentary a lot. I want to hear all the shit that he says.
I just want to see the Vince Young documentary, and like specifically, I want to see how much money that he spent at the Cheesecake Factory
at the TGI Fridays.
Unreal! If you've ever heard that story, he would spend like 20 grand at a Cheesecake Factory.
Insane.
Let me just say, I understand.
Look, Cheesecake Factory is fine. Not even that. Like
enough. How many can I buy?
Yeah. And Jeff Fisher took a rookie of the year and ruined that man's career. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, Dex, next pick.
All right, so I'm gonna go with a moment that brings me a lot of pain, but I think could make for an incredible documentary. I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans Letterman jacket game.
Oh,
no!
Ew!
Because, bro, what the fuck were y'all doing?
I fucking hate that. We were so good.
We were incredible. And then we wore those Letterman jackets and we go up to Foxborough.
Talking that hot shit. Talking a lot of hot shit.
Tom Brady just he got us again. Like I don't think we beat the Patriots until I was like in college. Like it's the first time that we beat the Patriots.
We beat the Patriots after like Wes Welker blew his knee out on the Texans' terrible field. Like that's the only time I think.
I need a documentary about like touches briefly on the founding of the Texans, how fucking awful we were until that like Bulls on Parade era. Talk about like how fucking dope that team was until like we just went up to Foxborough and got fucking exposed. We got exposed twice that year
by Green Bay too.
Yeah, we started out like 5-0, and then we played Green Bay and lost like 42-14 or something stupid like that. And then we
both on national TV too, by the way.
Yeah, and then we're on a winning streak after that, and we're like 10-1 or whatever, 11-1, something stupid like that. And then we got exposed again. Like just the biggest fucking frauds you've ever seen in your life.
Like Matt Schaub was like in the MVP conversation. Like what the hell? You know, it was something crazy. Like the Texans for Giants and Cowboys fans, if you're listening, the Texans never, ever get on national TV ever. So me seeing them get dismantled twice on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, respectfully,
in front of the host.
Embarrassing, dog. Embarrassing. Yeah, that was my first year at college too. I never heard the end of it. I guess okay, so the I'm gonna let Dex potentially take the Baylor stuff because I'm gonna go with so shout out to Hunter Woods. He friend from high school. He actually tweeted this at me and I need to see it. I think there's a YouTube video on it. Do y'all know Doc Ellis?
No.
Wait, that sounds familiar.
He is the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 70s that threw a no-hitter on LSD.
Oh,
what?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now that's a documentary for you right there.
He was doing LSD all morning or all through the night, was still on LSD, forgot that he had to pitch, got on a plane, arrived at the field and then threw a no-hitter
Jesus.
on LSD. Yeah, if you don't know it, go look it up.
That's amazing.
Doc Ellis. He wasn't really that great outside of, I mean, he was a decent pitcher, but like outside of that, he's like, yeah, I just threw an entire game on LSD. I think there's like a YouTube like retrospective that maybe like Vice did or something, but it deserves like a full documentary. And then my next pick, it pains me to say, we got to get like a Moneyball 2017 Astros sort of look back.
Oh, brother.
We're gonna,
yeah, you got to do it.
you got to do
so
it.
much.
Yeah.
There's so much.
And if you sit down and let like 20 years from now, if you let like Carlos Correa talk his shit and stuff like that, then it'll be fine. They won't do it. They'll just interview Buster Olney and he'll like cry and say like it's the worst thing that ever happened to baseball, even though like even though people were injecting themselves with like bull semen and shit like that. Like, yeah, sure, but I just
You got to start filming now because we need the Mattress Mac interview. So you got to keep that on ice.
yeah. So I got to see it. I got to see it. I'll hate watch it if anything.
But there's so fucking much you can talk about because like that season was amazing.
And then Houston was underwater.
Houston was underwater, came back. I've never been more lit than that night they won the World Series, bro.
And
like,
then just to come back and then they're like, everyone's like, take their championship away.
And we're all like, nah, we remember. We were there.
That's why like the UFC stuff is always funny to me, where it's always like Reggie Bush didn't win the Heisman. Yes, he did. I saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it happen with my own eyes. I don't care what anybody says. I saw it happen.
Yeah, fuck off. So let's see. For my next pick, yeah, now I'm gonna go ahead and take the Baylor pick. I need a documentary about Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, specifically from the national championship team, and you know whatever they become in their NBA careers, because I think those dudes are gonna be stars, especially Davion Mitchell.
Davion Mitchell looks great, man. He looks.
My
great.
boy was hooping out here at the summer league. So yeah, just give me everything about them.
You know what you can do is like you got to really cover like how like Baylor is almost given the death penalty. Like they hadn't done that for anybody since SMU's football team, which what Baylor did was even worse. What happened? So like they almost like that. We almost just don't have a basketball team. So for Scott Drew to like come in, one, to take that job, nobody wanted that job. For him to be crazy enough to be like, all right, I'm going to take the job where a player literally just murdered his teammate. You know what I mean? And like, we have no scholarships. We're like literally getting people from like the Slick to come in, play basketball for us. It really is a really cool story, even though Tej will disagree, but like he did really do an incredible, like they talk about it incessantly on ESPN, the job that he's done, but it really is like for those of you that don't know, like there was nearly not a basketball team in Waco, Texas.
I only watched this doc and we include the famous Dex Hinton post about how Scott Drew sucks and would never win anything. If we could go into that blog post, then I will definitely watch this documentary.
Interview me for this documentary and just fucking fry me, please.
You still get fried.
He still gets shit from that
to this day.
Dude, back when I was actually going to Baylor football games and like tailgating and shit, I would meet people and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the guy that wrote that article." In real life, I was just like, "Oh fuck."
Oh man,
yeah, that's me.
They did make a documentary about the basketball scandal on Showtime. I don't know if anybody watched, but there is one about it.
I gotta be honest, man. I avoided watching that. I avoided watching like the Waco Siege show that they did, even though apparently it's like pretty entertaining or whatever. I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need this.
All right, Tej, 2 picks.
These are easy for me. I'm obviously taking the story of the 2017-2018 Rockets that should have beat the Warriors. Would love to see a full documentary about that. That team was so fun. That was the highlight of my Rockets fandom as an adult. That team was incredibly fun. It was obviously heartbreaking when we lost. It was because Chris Paul got hurt, but man, oh man, was that team fun. Y'all couldn't tell me anything at that time in my life. I was 1,000% certain that we were going to win a championship. I would love to watch a documentary about that and cry myself to sleep that night. My second pick is going to be the definitive Coach K documentary. I'm a big basketball fan. I just have to see all my favorite Suns over the years in this documentary. I was lucky enough to Texas won a football national championship when I was at Texas, and Duke won a basketball championship when I was at Duke. I was very lucky. So
that's dope.
I would love to see that. Love Coach K. He went out very sad last year. We were incredibly trash. And that's when I knew, oh, God, Coach K is going to retire soon. And, of course, he's already announced he's going to retire after the season. So I'm already sad about it. Go Duke. I want to see the Duke basketball documentary.
Really, announcing that he's going to because it's not about him. It's not going to this. Not about him. Instead of announcing that you're going to retire after the season and just like going like Roy Williams did, like any normal person.
Put it out there so he can suck his dick for a whole year. That's basically.
Oh my God.
He wants the Kobe tour.
He wants the Kobe tour.
Having to do that the entire year is going to be sickening.
They're gonna do it too. That's the worst. They're gonna
do it every time he's on ESPN, which will be like 20 times. They're gonna do this.
And like I can't even be mad at him because like I would want to do that too. Like, yeah, fuck you guys. I've been here like for as long as most of you have been alive. Like, yeah, I want my fucking retirement tour. But like just knowing that we have to give it to him, it's like, oh, come on.
Like Tuesday night, like a Tuesday night in February, they're gonna be like, Coach K, here's a tobacco leaf from like North Carolina.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, thanks for all the memories from the family at Florida State basketball. Like, come on, man.
Georgia Tech has made this plaque for you, Coach K, to commemorate. Like it's gonna be that every game.
Ugh, gross.
But that 2017-2018 Rockets documentary, the most fun I've ever had as a sports fan. That year was incredible.
Man, God damn it, man. We were so good.
We were so fucking good. And nobody could tell us shit, man. Like, I mean, we're already kind of getting back to that, like off the strength of like a couple summer league games. Like, we're already back to our like can't tell me shit ways.
Ooh, man, the Rockets are gonna be bad this year.
But hey,
I'm about to have a great time watching them.
Jalen Green is all confident as fuck.
Jalen Green is confident as shit, and he just talks mad shit. And I don't care if we lose all 82 games. I'm gonna love watching Jalen Green, and I'm gonna be saying that he's the best player in the league by, I would imagine, at least December, January time. Be on the lookout for my Jalen Green hot takes. Jalen Green for MVP.
Yeah, as soon as we get to the All-Star game and I can start dropping the Jalen Green got snubbed takes, I'm doing that shit.
Get John Wall off my team, please. All right, Dex, next pick. Although Jalen Green also just has an entire city shook already.
What a king.
A king. All right, let's see. What am I gonna do here? What is this? This is pick 3 for me? Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Ronaldo Messi rivalry after their careers are over.
Nice.
Because I think, like, I'm sure one that probably already exists, but I haven't seen it. But like, whenever it's all said and done for those dudes, I want the official Messi versus Ronaldo documentary. Go into their upbringing.
I don't even think they hate each other like that, but like people have made it into a thing. So it's
like the entire world just decided y'all have to hate each other, and like we're going to divide ourselves amongst like which one of you we like more. And everybody like picks a side, like if you like the flashy one or if you like the one who just like kind of wins all the time or what. Like, I need it. Okay, I need to know about Messi coming up from the streets of Argentina and Ronaldo over in Portugal just being like it's the perfect physical specimen of a human, and them playing each other like 4 times a year every year in Spain.
They go look at pictures of Ronaldo before he started getting those paychecks, though. Like, money does wild things.
Yeah, that man's face was beat.
It is crazy how much because he turned into like a supermodel overnight. It is bananas what money can do for you. Okay, I got 2 picks. They've already done like a really extensive, like Ken Burns did an entire documentary on like the history of baseball, by the way. So it's really kind of compelling. It's like the Ken Burns style documentary where it's like in 1937, like it just is like one of those things. So, but
close to stealing my pick here. I'm getting nervous because I want Ken Burns to direct my last pick. I
want a comprehensive documentary. They already tried to give it to us with the Bonds, or no, not the Bonds, the Sosa and
Long Gone Summer.
Yeah, thank you. The 30 for 30 with that. And McGuire. They already tried to give me a full out documentary, people on camera talking about what they were injecting, where the steroid era. I need it. That saved baseball. And those people looked obscene. They looked ridiculous. They looked like video game characters.
Yeah.
Go back. It is crazy. I need
Mark McGuire literally looks like a character model from that old game, The Bigs.
Yeah.
Shit is insane.
I just need it, man. I just need an entire documentary on this steroid because it's just comical. They were hitting 5,000-foot home runs and people, and like the commissioner, Bud Selig, was just like, oh, it's just like, well, I didn't see it. You know what I mean? I just need it. That'd be great. And then let's see. What do I want? I mean, I need the comprehensive Hakeem Olajuwon documentary.
Oh, yeah, great choice.
That man doesn't get enough play. To be honest, I mean, they'll always be like, "Oh yeah, and Hakeem Olajuwon's in my top 10," but he's like actually probably one of the, if not the greatest center of all time, one of the greatest center. Just kind of overlooked outside of Houston, I feel like.
Hell influential, people like from college.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun, man.
They did a Phi Slamma Jamma documentary, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a 30 for 30 on Phi Slamma Jamma, right?
Yeah. So I just want the whole thing. Like the dude not even playing basketball until he was like 15 or whatever. Like he was a soccer player.
Insane.
Yeah, give me that. I want that.
Him slapping the shit out of Vernon Maxwell that one time.
Oh, my favorite thing about that is during was it Ramadan? Like he wouldn't eat or drink.
Yeah,
he still was playing.
But he still was playing and dropping like 40.
Crazy.
But yeah, if you've never heard Vernon Maxwell tell the story about the time Hakeem Olajuwon slapped the shit out of him, look that shit up. It's incredible.
All right, Dex, final pick.
Final pick. Let's see. So I'm gonna go with one that might cause Tej a little bit of pain, and I'm gonna take Colt McCoy getting injured in the championship game.
No. Oh, God,
making that business decision only to get drafted in the 4th round.
Yeah,
guys, please stop this right now.
I was still
don't do this.
I was still like rooting for Texas at this time because like I was still on the high of Vince Young and I was still a child. And so like, Texas was my team when I was a kid because you could only have Texas or Texas A&M, and I wasn't gonna root for A&M at any point in my life. But watching Colt McCoy like get cooked and destroyed by like some Bama defenders in that championship game, then seeing Garrett Gilbert come out here.
That boy was not ready.
He was not ready. And then it looked like he might almost be
ready.
A
little comeback.
Like towards the end. And then it like just all went to shit. And then like the Texas program just went to shit. And Alabama was Alabama again. So I need the documentary about both sides.
That was the beginning of the very long curse that is Texas football that is still ongoing. So I'm not ready to watch this until the curse is broken. And then I could watch this. That's one of the most painful sports days of my life. That was awesome.
I fully believe that they would have won that game. I really do actually believe that. But
we had Saban doing fake punts in the first quarter. I said, "Oh, he's scared." I was so excited, man.
Saban is a war criminal for what they did to poor Garrett Gilbert because he he was like a consensus like 99 5-star prospect coming out of I mean, he kind of came back and like did like okay with SMU, I think, later on in his college career, and now he's in the
Got
pros.
drafted,
Yeah, Garrett Gilbert's still in the NFL.
Yeah. So like
but they ruined him.
he's done
They
fine,
ruined
but he
him.
was supposed to be like the heir apparent. And then
Yep.
that poor guy couldn't get out of his own head because he was seeing ghosts from Alabama defenders. And then y'all had to go and like play Case McCoy. Ew.
Ugh. The Case McCoy era was a nasty era, bro. I'll
Disgusting.
tell you
That
A
era where
nasty
y'all
era right
went
there.
from like Colt McCoy and the older Shipley brother to
David Ash.
Yeah, and now we're just
David
like,
Ash
okay, fuck
era
it.
was nasty business, bros. The
We
Tyrone
got the
Swoops
younger
era was
McCoy and the
extremely
younger
nasty
Shipley.
business. We had Tyrone Swoops era where we couldn't throw the ball. Don't please.
I'm not kidding. I just was looking at old football stuff today, and I was like, man, Case McCoy. Like, I just kind of got down a rabbit hole. Case McCoy's stats are disgusting.
That boy was ass. That boy was garbage.
His senior year where he started all 13 games, 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, only 1,900 passing. You know, it's ew.
But shout out to him for being a part of the Baylor Big 12 championship.
Yep.
Case closed.
Case closed. Going from Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley to Case McCoy and Jackson Shipley is a disgusting.
Oh, sad times. All right, it's my last pick.
Yep.
I want a Ken Burns definitive documentary about the history of the UFC.
Ooh.
I just want to see the early days of the UFC are some of the wildest, craziest, should have been outlawed in every state in this country. As fights, you have 350-pound fat dudes fighting 120-pound judo masters with fucking no rules. That shit was insane. People were fighting in jeans, which is a disgusting thing to do. It's
fighting in like tennis shoes. In tennis shoes, they were like kicking each other with like Converse on.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. I want to see the history of the UFC into what it has become. I would love to watch a documentary like that. I would be obsessed with that. So that's my last pick.
Go watch some of those early. Like, you can find I think it's like every heavyweight champion of the UFC's history, like on YouTube. Just go Google that. Those dudes are so obviously on steroids. It's so crazy. And they're beating the fuck out of each other too. like no regard. I'm surprised nobody died. I really am. Like,
I was only like vaguely aware of like what early UFC fights looked like until I watched did a Chuck and Tito 30 for 30 about Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, and they showed some of the early UFC fights, and I was like, how is this legal? Like, what the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm. It legitimately is shocking that nobody died and that should have been over. One of the funniest things, my dad, I didn't really even know what UFC was, and like we weren't, we didn't watch fights and stuff back in the day, but he went over to, it's a guys' night, we're all gonna drink beer and watch the game, and like the only time that like dudes get away from their family for like 30 minutes, and he said, oh yeah, it's gonna be a real long night. They all pitched in for the fight. He said, I'm never doing that shit. He came back home. He's like, I'm never doing that shit again. Dude, roundhouse kicked that guy in the face. The fight was over in 30 seconds.
Bro, I paid for the Derek Lewis fight this last time.
Me too.
I had never paid for a fight before, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like going to a bar. I'm just gonna watch this shit. I don't want to deal with streams and all this other shit. I'm gonna just pay for this fight. Derek Lewis got fucking cooked, but I'm never paying for that shit again. Get the fuck out of here.
Nope.
I was never pissed, bro.
Never pay off of just principle. I never pay for UFC fights.
And the card was incredible.
The card was fun, and then the main event happened. It was like, oh, this fight is trash.
I'm never doing that shit again, bro. You can catch me at Low Woodrow's or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm never paying for a fight ever again, bro.
Any honorable mentions? I want to see the naming rights scandal with Enron on Enron Field for the Astros.
Fun time.
I just want to see Drake McClain being like, our field's name what?
I want to see Tillman Fertitta's finances, the documentary of the Tillman Fertitta.
Yeah.
I need to see behind the scenes.
You-
I want to
you
know
know-
exactly how broke we are, bro. I need to know.
You know that 30 for 30 that was called Broke about athletes
Yes.
like spending money? Like
Yes.
just
I want-
redo that with Tillman
Broke
Fertitta.
2. Tillman Fertitta story. I need that. I
Have
need
y'all
that.
seen the 30 for 30 about that dude who like bought a hockey team with no money?
Yes.
It's like one of the OG 30 for 30s. It's called Big Shot. Absolutely incredible. Some dude just bought an NHL team and would just always be like, checks in the mail. Checks in the mail. And they
What?
realized he didn't have any fucking money.
He just bought it off of his like name and like
Yeah, he just bought
Basically,
it.
everybody thought he had money, but he didn't actually have any money.
I've never heard of this. That's crazy.
Big Shot. Look it up. But yeah, it feels like Tillman Fertitta kind of did that shit. But
Oh
I guess
my
we'll
God.
see.
My dad's broke. Like I keep talking about, but he's broken it down for me because he's in on like, yeah, Tillman Fertitta is gonna like get his kneecaps taken out or something like that because the dude took out. If you don't know, Tillman Fertitta, he owns all the Landry's restaurants. He owns Golden Corral or owns like the majority stake in that. But he was hit hard in the pan, just like every service or like entertainment industry
Yeah,
was.
because all of his money is restaurants, hotels, and casinos.
Yeah, he was hit hard during the pandemic right after he bought that team. Not to mention, he took out like loans on most people just like straight up buy the team, like or like get an ownership group together and then they throw in like actual money. He took out loans to buy an NBA team.
Loans. Yep.
He took out loans to buy an NBA team.
Ugh. If this guy ruins my fucking anyway, I won't even get into it. I fucking hate that.
And then he was gonna try to pay James Harden $50 million. You're like, how?
We
With
haven't
what?
paid the luxury tax since he's on the team, and they keep doing that thing where it's like, well, I'm not opposed to paying the luxury tax. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just tired of the storyline.
It
Likely
sounds
won't
like you're
happen
pretty
anymore.
opposed.
It looks like you're opposed just from the fact that you haven't paid it. They ask you every year, and every year you're like, we'll see, and then you don't pay it. So now, luckily, we're young. We don't care about the luxury tax, and get John Wall and Eric Gordon off my team, and let's just be very young and very fun. Let's do it.
I want the documentary on how Yankees fans justify like 18 of their championships before black people could play.
Yeah.
Hey, man, they don't count unless the Yankees won them, in which case we're counting them. Those are the rules.
That's all 27 rings, but like most of them were like before integration.
yeah. Except, Babe Ruth, maybe probably black. We don't know. Who
That's
can say?
That's a black king.
Who
Please
can
don't take that away from us.
Babe Ruth was black.
Bruce is a black king. Facts.
We obviously need a documentary about Kobe Bryant, just like start to finish.
We'll get
need it.
one. We'll get one.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a really good one too, and it's gonna be beautiful, man.
It has to be incredible. You cannot fuck that up.
Let
Just
the
get the
guy who
last dance
did-
people to do it.
exactly. Make Jason Herzog make him do it.
Or the guy that did the OJ documentary, which is, by the way, like
Incredible.
it is probably the
Incredible
best.
content.
It is probably the best sports documentary, maybe one of the best documentaries of all time.
So
It
much
is-
stuff in there that I didn't know, and I feel like
It's
I know a
crazy
lot
to
about
even call it a
sports.
documentary because it's 6 hours long.
Yeah,
But like,
No, it's like eight. It's like eight. It's like
Is
eight
it?
1 hour parts.
it's really
yeah.
long.
yeah, no. So that
But dude, that was incredible television. I was tuned in. I don't remember if they did it night to night or if they did it like weekly, but I tuned in every single time because the shit was amazing.
for the
OJ Made in America.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, just we'll get a Kobe Bryant. I'm sure we'll get a Tom Brady documentary too. Like, ugh.
I don't need that. Tom Brady's not that
I'm sure
interesting.
it's
to me.
coming. I'm sure he's gonna get a 10-part doc that I'm gonna wholly ignore. Fuck Tom Brady.
He just wins a lot. Tom Brady doesn't seem that interesting to me. Maybe a documentary will open my eyes. All this cool shit about Tom Brady, but like he wins a lot. That's good enough for me. I don't care.
Is Donald Trump gonna be one of the people that they ask questions to in this documentary?
They
Because I'm
have
out.
to,
I'm out.
right?
I'm just out. I'm out. I'm out on this doc.
At
We need-
least Ron DeSantis.
We
At
need
the
a
least.
documentary like The Last Dance, except for the NBA bubble, because they have the cameras rolling. Like,
Oh, that's
Oh
coming.
yeah,
And
I just
that's
know
gonna be
they
good,
did.
man. That's
We
gonna be
need that.
we need that.
gonna get Daniel
Fucking need
House
that.
red-handed finally.
The unforeseen footage, the previously unseen footage of Daniel House sneaking into a nurse's room with his dick in his hand.
We
God
need
damn you,
that.
Daniel House.
we need LeBron James being at the players only meeting, just being like, "Well, fuck it, we're not gonna play then. Oh, we're playing. All right, well, we're playing. Okay, if we're playing then. Let's play."
not going to play, but you're saying like I won't win a championship if we don't play. Like we're not going to finish this. Okay, we're playing.
Okay, we're playing, guys.
I read the first 10 pages of Malcolm X's autobiography.
I'm now an expert. We're playing, guys.
Well, they would want us to play, to be honest. The NBA bubble, that documentary is definitely coming. That's just a wild thing that actually happened.
I can't believe that it happened.
I can't believe they pulled it off, man. Like,
and it was so funny because while it was happening, everybody was like, no way nobody gets COVID. And then we were like, oh, maybe if you just don't allow COVID in.
Like literally don't allow anyone in.
Yeah. Then maybe we don't get COVID. It's crazy how that works.
Weird.
Like Daniel House was like, I'm gonna start a rap career and I'm gonna go out and be horny. Perfect.
Did not play horny is still the funniest. Like
be horny.
But yeah, like fucking ESPN and the NBA just being like, all right, so we take over Disney World for 2 months and we play basketball. Mm-hmm. And like that shit just worked. It was dope. Amazing. We need that.
Russell Westbrook yelling at children and mothers.
A whole 10 minutes on Russell Westbrook just yelling at random toddlers. God damn it.
Down like 15.
One of the funniest photos on the internet. It's him just screaming, and then it pans over, and it's just like a mom and her kids. It's like they don't know about me, and he's just like breastfeeding. You're just like, all right. Oh man, there's several like people will get in our mentions. Like somebody did say like the entire 2020 sports season. We got to have a whole documentary though. Like if they do the NBA bubble, we cannot leave out that just like Rudy Gobert was like
patient zero
for the entirety of sports getting canceled. Crazy.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert. COVID, and he said, I'm just going to touch all these mics. Woo, you guys are nervous, aren't you? And then he got fucking COVID and shut down the league.
Rudy Gobert being like most Americans like gateway into like taking COVID seriously. It's just fucking insane. Like, that doesn't even make fucking sense. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dog, we had like coaches like dying on the sideline and they were just like, what? We're not going to cancel the season. Like, yeah, we are. They just straight up cancel. Sorry, they just straight up canceled like March Madness. This didn't happen. We just didn't have a champion.
Yep. But yeah, there was a college coach. I don't remember who it was or what team it was, but he had like the flu or something, and he was on the sideline like
dying,
looking hella sick, and everyone was like, "Oh no, baby, what are you doing? Like,
no, baby, what is you doing?
We are going home."
It was like Virginia, and he's like, "I'm not actually like I don't have COVID." And he's like literally dying on the sideline. But yeah,
fucking wild.
That day was nuts because it within like the matter of like hours they had canceled. For those of you that don't know about 2020, within a matter of hours they canceled like all NBA and NCAA basketball games because Rudy Gobert was like, I'm
all
sick
because of fucking Rudy Gobert.
And we all thought like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert were like gonna come to blows. Like as soon as Donovan Mitchell got negative, we were like, okay, they're gonna fight. Like they can't be on the same team anymore. You gave me COVID.
Oh my god. Anyway, all right. You can find us at One Take Pod, One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on all podcast platforms. Please download, rate, and subscribe. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitch, or not Twitch. Well, Twitch at Apollo HOU, but One Take Pod on all social media accounts. Dex, where can they find the dopest Houston merch?
ApolloHOU.store. Check us out. We got the dopest Rockets merch, Astros merch. Maybe we'll have Texans merch. Who cares?
Letter jackets.
Yeah, well, letter jackets are coming. I'm trying to get some like Apollo racing team shit off the ground. We're gonna be looking like a fucking Formula One team out here. Like, just check us out. And if anything's too expensive for you, just use promo code One Take Pod ONETAKEPOD at checkout and get 10% off.
All right. What else are we doing though?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. She like just announced a new movie that she's gonna be in about like I don't remember what it's about. Doesn't matter. Florence Pugh's in it, so it's gonna be good. Go see it.
All right. We're out.
All right, I've been sleepy all day. I'm about to go to sleep. I know y'all sleepy as fuck.